Why don't you get a job, Spicoli?
What for?
You need money.
All I need are some tasty waves, a cool buzz, and I'm fine.
Welcome to the Shermer High Alumni Association. I'm Kristen.
I'm Janine.
And I'm Carol.
And we rewatch movies from the 80s to determine, did that age well?
This week's movie is Fast Times at Ridgemont High, the flick that taught us that love isn't easy, that sometimes you need to have a pizza delivered to history class on our time, and to never, ever sleep with a slimy, manipulative ticket scalper because he will turn out to be a prick.
So let's grab some tasty waves and get a cool buzz. Now, pay attention, or Mr. Hand might show up at your house and waste 8 hours of your time, which would be totally bogus. Join us as we rewind, rewatch, and remember the decade that shaped us.
This week, we head back to 1982 to revisit Stacy Hamilton, who wants a relationship, but what she gets is a crash course in the difference between sex and love. Guided by the questionable romantic wisdom of her experienced friend Linda, Stacy dives headfirst into a world of dating that is far less glamorous than she ever imagined. Meanwhile, her older brother Brad watches his king of the school status crumble through a series of humiliating fast food jobs and a surprise breakup. Floating through it all is Jeff Spicoli, the quintessential stoner slacker who discovers that even his carefree surfer lifestyle must eventually answer to the iron-fisted Mr. Hand.
What a great synopsis.
Thanks, I wrote it myself.
Did you?
I did.
Well played. Yeah. So in this movie, we have Sean Justin Penn, born August 17th of 1960. He is an American actor and filmmaker. He is known for his intense leading man roles in film. His accolades include 2 Academy Awards, a Golden Glove Award, a British Academy Film Award, and nominations for an Emmy Award and a Grammy Award. He received the Honorary Caesar in 2015 and the Bob Hope Humanitarian Award in 2022. He made his feature film debut in the drama Taps in 1981 before taking roles in Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1982, Bad Boys in 1983, and At Close Range in 1986. He has won the Academy Award for Best Actor twice, for playing the grieving father in Mystic River in 2003, and the gay rights activist Harvey Milk in Milk in 2008. Penn has also engaged in political and social activism, including his criticism of the George W. Bush administration, his contact with the presidents of Cuba and Venezuela, his humanitarian work in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina in 2005, and the 2010 Haiti earthquake. He supported Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky amidst the Russian-Ukrainian war. Penn was married to Madonna from 1985 until 1989. He was married to an actress, Robin Wright, from 1996 to 2010, and had a daughter, Dylan, and a son, Hopper. He then married Layla George in 2020 and divorced in 2021.
We have Jennifer Jason Leigh, who was born Jennifer Lee Morrow on February 5th, 1962. She's an American actress. She began her career on television during the 1970s before making her film breakthrough in the teen film Fast Times at Ridgemont High. She received critical praise for her performances in Last Exit to Brooklyn in '89, Miami Blues in 1990, Backdraft in '91, Single White Female in '92, and Hudsucker Proxy in '94, and was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for her portrayal of Dorothy Parker in Mrs. Parker and the Vicious Circle in 94. For her role as fugitive Daisy Domergue in The Hateful Eight in 2015, she was nominated for the Golden Globe and an Academy Award for the Best Supporting Actress. Lee was married to an independent film writer-director Noah Baumbach from 2005 until 2013. They have one son. She plays Stacy Hamilton in this film, and she was 19 at the time of filming.
We also have Judge Reinhold, who was born Edward Ernest Judge Reinhold Jr. on May 21st, 1957. He is an American actor who is best known for his work in Hollywood films during the 1980s. He was nicknamed Judge because, when he was a baby, he looked stern and judge-like. He has starred in several popular films such as Stripes in 1981, Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1982, and Ruthless People in 1986. He had small roles in The Lords of Discipline in 1983 and Gremlins in 1984, and he appeared in an uncredited role in Pat Benatar's music video for Shadows of the Night. He has co-starred in all of the films in the Beverly Hills Cop series and the Santa Claus franchises. Reinhold was nominated for an Emmy for his role on Seinfeld, in which he played the close talker.
Oh, brilliant.
Yes. Who develops an obsession with Jerry's parents, Judge Mathis. Reinhold appeared in Arrested Development, playing himself as a judge of a fictional court show, a parody of shows like People's Court, Judge Judy, and Judge Mathis. He was also in Steven Spielberg's epic miniseries Into the West. Reinhold also appeared in the 2008 political satire Swing Vote and reprised his role as Detective Billy Rosewood in Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Reinhold and his wife Amy have one daughter and live in Little Rock, Arkansas. He plays Brad Hamilton in this film, and he was 24 at the time of filming.
We also have Phoebe Cates, also known as Phoebe Bell Cates Klein. She was born on July 16th of 1963. She's an American businesswoman and a retired actress and model. She appeared in the films Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Gremlins in 84, Gremlins 2, The New Batch in 1990, Drop Dead Fred in 91, and Princess Caribou in 94. In 2005, she founded the Blue Tree Boutique. Kate started her career as a model, appearing in 17 magazine at the age of 10. She disliked the industry and said, "It was just the same thing over and over again, and after a while I did it solely for the money." She then began acting. She was offered her first part in the movie Paradise in 82. She was uncertain about the nudity the role required, but her father encouraged her to take the job. And in the film, she performed several full frontal nude scenes and several rear scenes at the age of 17. She regretted being in the film. She said that she learned to never be in a film like that ever again. And later that year, she starred in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, featuring what Rolling Stones called the most memorable bikini drop in cinema history. She said that she had the most fun filming that movie. And the next year, she was in a comedy private school in which she sang on 2 songs of the film's soundtrack. In December of 89, Cates made her Broadway debut in a revival of Paddy Chayefsky's The 10th Man. In 1983, Cates auditioned for a role in The Big Chill, which ultimately went to Meg Tilly. But at the audition, Cates met actor Kevin Kline. They were both dating other people, but they became romantically involved 2 years later. And they married in 1989, and they have 2 children, a son and a daughter. They have been married for 37 years.
Wow.
Yeah. She plays Linda Barrett in the film, and she was 18 at the time of filming.
We also have Brian Backer, who was born December 5th, 1956, and is a former American actor. He is best known for his role in the 1982 comedy hit Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and he also appeared in the 1985 comedy film Moving Violations as Scott Grieber. and the 1987 comedy film Police Academy 4 Citizens on Patrol as Arnie. Backer's primary television role was on the soap opera Santa Barbara in 1990 as A. Bartlett Congdon. He also had guest appearances on the shows Charles in Charge, Gimme a Break, and Growing Pains. He plays Mark Ratner in this film, and he was 25 at the time of filming.
He didn't look 25.
No.
We also have Robert Romanus, born July 17th of 1956. Also, he's billed as Bob Romanus. He's an American actor and a musician who has starred in film and television. He is perhaps best known for his role as the ticket scalper in the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High and as Natalie Green's boyfriend, Snake, on The Facts of Life. He also had a supporting role in the 1985 film Bad Medicine. Romanus has starred on soap operas such as Days of Our Lives as Marvin Speed Selechko and on The Young and the Restless as Lou. He has also guest starred on many shows, including Chips, The Facts of Life, 21 Jump Street, Alien Nation, MacGyver, Providence, Will and Grace, and My Own Worst Enemy. He once owned a cafe in North Hollywood named Bob's Espresso Bar, which closed in 2014. And he plays Mike Damone in this film, and he was 25 at the time of filming.
We also have Ray Walston, who we have went over in previous films. He was the Commodore in Popeye and also in Rad, and he's just a goat. He plays Mr. Hand in this film and was 67 at the time of filming. Some other actors and actresses that we see are Scott Thompson as Arnold, a friend of Brad's, Anthony Edwards as one of Spicoli's stoner buddies, Vincent Schiavelli as Mr. Vargas, Amanda Wise as Lisa, Brad's girlfriend, D.W. Brown as Ron Johnson, the stereo salesman, Forrest Whitaker as Charles Jefferson, the football player. He was only 20 at the time. Kelly Maroney as Cindy Carr. Eric Stoltz as one of Spicoli's stoner buddies. And of course, we have Nicolas Cage in his feature film debut, who is credited as Nicholas Coppola, who plays a friend of Brad and his co-worker at All American Burger. He was only 17 at the time of filming.
What are you people? On dope?
This was released on August 13th of 1982 with an R rating. It was directed by Amy Heckerling, and Cameron Crowe did the screenplay. It had a budget of only $5 million, and it brought in a box office amount of $27.1 million.
It did really well.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, it did really well.
So Amy Heckerling, if she deserves a little bit of a shout out here because she's done Clueless, she did Look Who's Talking, European Vacation, blah, 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 Night at the Roxbury. She's done a lot. And this was based off of Cameron Crowe's. Oh, did we talk about that at some point? How this came to be? How he went undercover in a high school in San Diego?
No.
So that's
but you should talk about that.
Okay, so that's how it comes to be, is that, and it was for something else. It was for some other project that never got greenlit, but he went undercover at a high school in San Diego, and this came of that. Not originally. This was like a second round of it, but that's how this story came to be.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this was primarily filmed in the Los Angeles area, featuring Van Nuys High School as the main campus and the original Sherman Oaks Galleria for the mall scenes. Other key locations include Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, that's in Santa Monica, which was formerly the All American Burger, and various spots in West Hills and Van Nuys.
Awesome. You ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Yep.
Awesome. So first, we're going to go over the characters of this movie. First, there's Brad Hamilton, senior in high school, thinks he has everything figured out, and he has his job at All American Burger and big plans for his future. Like, he got his shit together. He has a younger sister, Stacy, who is just starting high school, 15, and trying to figure out dating relationships and what growing up actually means. Her best friend, Linda Barrett, is very confident in her role as Stacy's like relationship advisor, even if her advice is perhaps a little questionable. Then we have Mark Ratner, or Rat, who is the painfully shy guy when it comes to girls, especially Stacy, and his best friend, Mike Damone, who is that he is this world-class expert in dating. He's also a ticket scalper. And then there is Jeff Spicoli, who's a surfer. He's got permanently stoned face. He's completely uninterested in anything that doesn't have anything to do with surfing. And then we have Mr. Hand. So we open up this movie, this intro segment. The Go-Go's are playing. We got the beat. And Sean Penn is listed as the starring role. He is the #1 billed actor on the movie. And we've got a lot going on here in this intro segment. We see it's just so much nostalgia. It's nostalgia overload. You see the record store and the pizza place and the corn dogs and the arcade and B. Dalton, or like Walden Books, and and also smoking in movie theaters. Like
Yep,
that.
the smoking section is upstairs.
Smoking section's upstairs. And this just brought me back to Westgate Mall. And it was like, what were those stores for us and for our time? And it was Higbee's and Hallie's and Horns and Chi-Chi's and Grey Drug, Fashion Bug. We had the Snowman that talked, Bruce the Spruce, the Easter Bunny. We had Hot Sam, which is where I worked, and Things Remembered. Aladdin's Castle, which was the arcade for our mall, and it just brought up a whole bunch of different things. So it was like the mall was the place, man. And I feel like it's coming back. I don't know if Cleveland has seen that, but I feel San Jose, which, if you didn't know, is the #1 most expensive city in the United States.
That's wonderful for you.
No, it's not. It's gas is $6 a gallon. So we have this opening at Ridgemont Hall, and we see Brad Hamilton, and he's walking through the mall, all whatever, and girls are just kind of staring at him, and I can't tell if is Brad popular or not. He is? Okay. I'll go with that. And so he's walking around the mall, and we then see Mike and Rat. Mike is visiting Rat at the ticket booth of the movie theater, and some kids come up and they want to buy some concert tickets off of Mike. And the thing to take note of here was that he's selling these tickets for $20 each, even though at the box office they were only $12.50. And just the thought of paying $12.50 for a concert is just mind-boggling. Even though I know I paid $20 to see REM. I know I paid $23 to see the Grateful Dead. Like, I know that, but it's just, in hindsight, looking back at it, it's just crazy. So then we meet Stacy Hamilton, again, Brad's younger sister, is about to start high school. Again, we're going to note that she is 15 years old. Her best friend, Linda, encourages, so they both work at the pizza place at the mall. And all the girls sort of swoon over this guy who works at the stereo store. He's a stereo salesman. And Linda eggs Stacy on to go and hit on him. And well, it works. We see Brad arriving at work at All American Burger. He kisses his girlfriend from Nightmare on Elm Street. Spicoli and his friends, Eric Stoltz and Anthony Edwards, come in to the shop and they sit down and they just take their shirts off.
Yeah.
And it's just so weird.
Very weird.
Well, they're
And they're-
defiant. They're defying the sign.
Okay. They're super high. Super high. And Brad comes out. He's like, Spicoli, you guys got to put your shirts on. And they say some shit. And he's, look at the sign. No shirt, no shoes, no dice. Learn it, know it, live it. It is now the beginning of the school year. This soundtrack slaps. It's a pretty good soundtrack. We
really
have
is.
Tom Petty, which you could never go wrong with.
Nope.
Tom Petty on the record player, and I guess it's the first day of school. I don't know, but let's just assume it is. And everyone's TPing everything, including other students. Also, it appears that Nicolas Cage is putting "I'm a homo" sign onto the back of another student. So that's lovely. We see Brad driving into the school. He's talking to himself, just flat out talking to himself. Gets us. And then he's just like discussing his car payments with his friends. Those are just not conversations I ever had in high school.
No?
I never thought of Forrest Whitaker as a tall person necessarily.
Right.
I've never really seen, like, in other, like we just saw Platoon and like other movies that he's been in. He's so tall.
But maybe in high school he really was. But then everybody like caught up to him.
I guess so. He's just so tall in this movie. Aloha. My name is Mr. Hand. We see the Commodore starting his history class. I think it's U.S. history. And he's introducing himself to the class, giving his expectation. And you see Spicoli just standing outside, kind of these double doors for the classroom. He kind of Mr. Hand goes over to open it and bring him in. And this interaction does not go well at all. Mr. Hand ends up tearing up Spicoli's class schedule, sends him back to the head office because he was late. Mr. Hand then proceeds to pass out like a schedule. It sort of sounds like a syllabus, maybe before they called them syllabuses, but he passes this out and everyone smells the paper. So kids, before there were printers, there was a time that printers did not exist, and you had what was called the mimeograph. Google it. Anyway, the ink, it was like sniffing a permanent marker. It was so great. So anytime you get that fresh mimeograph like worksheet, oh yeah, you huffed that. We're at lunch. We've got Stacy and Linda. They're talking about, I guess, Stacy going on a date with this 26-year-old man because she's told him. And Linda proceeds to teach Stacy basically how to give a BJ with a carrot. And they end up getting a round of applause from the boys surrounding them in the cafeteria. So we find out Rat's in love with Stacy. He tells Mike. We get to Stacy. She's sneaking out of her house. She sneaks out of her house to have sex with the stereo man underneath like some bleachers. And then the stereo man sends Stacy flowers, which was super cringe. We have another interaction with Spicoli and Mr. Hand. And I believe this is the time where Mr. Hand has asked the class, have you seen Mr. Spicoli? And somebody has seen him. Please go get him. And he comes and it's like, why are you late for class? And he's like, I don't know. And it's just one of those key moments in this film where he writes it on the board. I don't know. Are you going to pass this class? I don't know. We get to a period of time where it appears to be Christmas. There's a kid peeing on Santa's leg, and they're using the knuckle busters, or what I know as knuckle busters, to do the credit card transactions. So
Yes.
if you've kids, if you've ever wondered why there were raised letters and numbers on debit cards or credit cards, it was because an impression would be made of that card so that they could then later on run that number in the back office and then actually charge you for your purchase.
What a pain in the ass that system
Oh.
was.
Oh my God. Linda is a good wingman. And there's something about Linda in this movie that I don't quite get exactly, but she is a good wingman. She doesn't seem to have this like any ulterior motive. And she really wants to see Stacy do her best, be her best stuff. That's just a note I had. We see Charles at the mall. Mike sees Charles at the mall. That's what this is. Because in the background, you see that old school Gap sign.
Yes.
Just to show you how fucking old the Gap is.
Very old.
And I also want to know that Mike is also, right now at this point in time, a really good wingman to Rat. Wants to see him happy, has good intentions, but obviously, let's put a pin in that. Rat is at work, and I don't know what's going on with him that day, but somebody asks him to watch the front register because he's got to go potty or something. Brad goes out there. Again, I don't know what was up his butt that day, but
He was talking in the mirror about how he wanted to break up with her. And then
Yeah.
that dude interrupted him. And so I think that the fact that he even had to deal with that customer pissed him off because he wasn't supposed to be on the register at all.
Right.
So I think it was just the fact that like the customer was so hard to deal with that he was like, I shouldn't even be up here. I should just be in the bathroom practicing my speech to my girlfriend.
I'm not even gonna.
And like the kid was like, hey, I just have to pee. But he was in there for 10 minutes.
Yeah, he was in there forever. But you're right. So the customer comes up, he wants a refund because his breakfast is gross. And Brad just has a moment. And he's just, I'm going to 100% kick your ass. And so he's fired. Now we go to Spicoli is having like a dream. And he appears to have won a surfing award. And he's flanked by two women in bikinis, and he refers to his competition as fags. Now they're at a gym. Everyone's in the gym, and some cheerleader is like talking about how hard it is to be a cheerleader. Am I
Oh
getting?
my God. And she's so like squeaky.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like you guys have no idea. Blah, blah, blah. And now Brad has had an about face, and he's talking to, what is her name in the movie? Nightmare on Elm Street girl. And he's so glad she's there with him during this time, and she breaks up with him. Stacy had agreed to a date with Rat. He had asked her on a date. And Mike decides to impart some wisdom upon him. And his wisdom goes a little something like this. Number one, never let on how much you like a girl. 2, always call the shots. 3, that wherever you are is the place to be. 4, when you're ordering, find out what she wants and order for her. That's classy. And 5, most important, when it comes down to making out, if at all possible, put on side 1 of Led Zeppelin 4. Then we cut to Rat is in a car with Stacy. He's driving his sister's car and he's playing Led Zeppelin 4. They go to dinner at what appears to be like a decently nice some sort of Eastern European
Or German?
or German. Yeah. German restaurant. And he realizes that he's forgotten his wallet. He excuses himself. He goes to the pay phone and he calls up Mike, who's doing absolutely nothing to help save him and go get his wallet and bring it to him, which he does do. There's an interaction there when Mike drops it off. There's a little bit of an interaction between Stacy and Mike. You can tell something's happening there because Stacy seems to be a little bit bored by Mike, or by Rat. He's a little bit bored. She's a little bit bored by him, but Mike sort of gives off that whatever vibe.
Cool guy vibe. I want to know what he bites into, like on the toothpick.
I know, because
it's like, I'm like, what is that?
it looked like a black peppadew, but like obviously they're not black, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It was wool. It was gross. So Rat and Stacy leave the restaurant, and hold on. Rat and Stacy leave the restaurant because now he has his wallet, and he's driving her back home. And Stacy says something like, "I'm sorry that your sister's tape deck got stolen."
She's got things to say.
What is she barking at?
People walking their dogs.
Oh,
Now she's back asleep. They get to Stacy's house, and Stacy invites Rat in, and things things go sideways for Stacy. Actually, Rat gets the hell out of there. I think that was a little too much too quickly, and he was not ready for that. Stacy was all like naked in a robe, like she was gonna put it all out there for him. So it seemed to her that he was like grossed out by her, or he just really did not enjoy his time. So that's Stacy's impression. Spicoli and Charles's brother are now driving in Charles's absolutely beautiful Trans Am, and they're talking about Playboy, and the brother is like, "I like sex."
what?
Oh my God. So, and then Spicoli makes this like, people on lewds should not drive. And then he immediately, and he's driving up the middle lane, like he's splitting a lane, like motorcyclists. Like he's not even in a lane while he's driving.
He drives like a complete asshole.
Like he's not, yeah, because he's on lewds. And do we know where we're going? And Charles's brother, who I don't know what his name is like, turn right here. And they just drive into what appears to be like a construction area and just completely fucks up the car. Car is total. My brother's going to kill us. He's going to shit. He's going to shit and then he's going to kill us. Is he going to shit or is he going to kill us? He's going to shit and then he's going to kill us. So what they do is actually brilliant, because in the next scene, we see all these people. There's people wearing T-shirts that say "Kill Lincoln." Now, I get the irony in the statements, like assassinate Lincoln, like assassination puns. And they stage the car as if Lincoln did that to Ridgemont with Charles's car.
Sneaky.
Sneaky. They have the football game because Charles is so mad. He's so mad. They have that football game and he just annihilates everyone on the opposing team. They win like 42-0. We see Linda and Stacy. It must be the weekend. They're poolside at Stacy's house. Somehow Rat and Mike know this, and they show up there in their suits with their towels, and Stacy lets them in. I think it's Mike pushes Rat into the pool, and then he ends up jumping in, and then Stacy ends up jumping in, but then he gets into that pool float, and that pool float is everything, because those are the kind of pool floats they had at the Hill Rock.
Yes, and you used to always take them.
and you'd go into a little like closet and get them. Do you remember that? It was like a
Yeah,
special cool floaty area closet.
the
I d
floaty closet.
Floaty closet. And I do remember grandma in that once too. Like,
Oh, wow.
that's some vintage shit.
You are really old. By the way,
Oh, yeah.
Charles Jefferson's car is a Camaro Z28.
Oh, it's a Camaro.
It's not a Trans Am.
Okay, I'm
Nice.
so sorry. So it is a bitchin' Camaro. I don't know why I thought it was a Trans Am. So Brad comes home. Oh, back up. When Rat and Mike show up, they're in Mike's car, I believe, or Mike's mom's car, I think. And it's a Chevette. And Chevette was my favorite Hot Wheels as a kid. But I had the big one, not like the little baby Hot Wheels, but they had the bigger ones, like where like things worked. Anyway, my favorite car. Brad comes home from his fish and chip job and he goes in the bathroom and he's like creeping on Linda. And he goes into this whole fantasy. And this is like the most famous scene of the entire movie is, and it's been played off in other movies like Christmas Vacation and stuff like that. So this is a very famous part of the movie where Brad is in the bathroom, Yankee my wanky, and Linda does this dive off. She actually does this. She dives off the diving board, but she comes out of the pool and she just takes off her top and she's going to make out with Brad. So she really does get out of the pool, but she's got some water in her ear and she asks Stacy, "Do you have Q-tips?" Oh, yeah. They're in the house. So then she walks in on Brad. No Yankee, my wanky. That was, and she was very like scared. Like she just didn't act like somebody who is as knowledgeable about the sex as she portrays herself to be. Stacy is writing Mrs. Stacy Damone in her notebook in history class, and Spicoli orders a pizza to the classroom.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
Learning about Cuba, having some food.
Mr. Spicoli, you're on dangerous ground here. You're causing a major disturbance on my time.
I've been thinking about this, Mr. Hand. If I'm here and you're here, doesn't that make it our time? Certainly there's nothing wrong with a little feast on our time.
And this is actually something that happened when Cameron Crowe was doing his little experiment. Like he witnessed somebody actually do this. And it's just like, it's brilliant because you can just tell like Spicoli really likes this teacher and this teacher really likes him, but like they have a clashing relationship, right? After school, Stacy sort of comes up on Mike. Mike knows exactly what she's doing. He knows exactly what she's doing. And he's like, Rat really likes you. He's nice. And I don't know, she's talking about how she hates having to walk home. Anyway, he ends up walking her home and the interactions. Do you have any tea or do you have any iced tea? Yeah, come on in. Anyway,
But she says to him, like, when she walks up on him, that is nice, but I think I like you.
Oh, right. Yeah. A lot was cut from this scene because this movie would have ended up with an X rating, which is what I fucking hate, is because it did have male frontal.
Yeah.
And we're going to rate it X, but it was absolutely fine for Jennifer Jason Leigh to be laying on that couch naked. Now, we did not see lower frontal of her, but like, it's just such bullshit.
And multiple scenes.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. And it was like they had to cut that scene.
But if we see a wiener, then
right, it's an X-rated movie. And so they proceed to have 2-second sex because Mike sucks.
Well, yeah.
And he proceeds to just blow Stacy off. Obviously because he's horrified. I don't think think it's because he like used her and left, but because she has it, she holds the cards, right? So he's got to blow her off first, right? Before she is able to spread any rumor about, well,
He's all talk and no action.
yeah. We see Mike hitting on a girl when Stacy interrupts and was like, I need to talk to you. And he's like, come on, Stacy, later. I'm doing business. Just no, no. And she tells him that she's pregnant, and they sort of agree on this whole $75 in a ride. And he doesn't come up with the money. And so he stiffs her. He doesn't even show up. He does not give her a ride. She ends up getting a ride to the bowling alley with Brad. And Brad actually sees her crossing the street through his rearview mirror. And he basically deduces where she has gone. After Stacy has this pregnancy taken care of and she's leaving the clinic, Brad is in the parking lot waiting for her. And that is brother goals right there, that you have a sibling who is, oh shit, this isn't good. And just being there for your little sister. I think that was right. He had an Indians jersey on, but I don't know if that was the Cleveland Indians or just some other thing.
I think it was the colors for the Cleveland Indians.
I mean, but that's so easy, like blue and red. Like there was no number on the back. We had to rewind that and play it back. It was like, but I don't know how baseball jerseys were in the 80s. Maybe you didn't have player names on the back. I don't know. But I'm going to go with it was a Cleveland Indians reference. Stacy's on the phone with Linda and she tells Linda what happened. She tells her how Mike completely just bailed on her. I believe it's Linda who gets all that retribution. I don't think it's Stacy. I think it's Linda who writes prick on the side of his car. I think it's Linda who does the damage to his locker. I think it's all her because she's a wingman, right? Word gets around school and Rat intercepts Mike in the locker room. And what happened? What happened? And what I love is Rat in that scene is wearing a Popeye movie t-shirt.
It's awesome.
Yes.
I love that. And Rat is crying and he's pissed and he's upset. Like Mike has fucked him over. And Mike knows he has. Mike, you can tell Mike knows he has screwed up. We then see a field trip with the science kids. So we've got Rat and Stacy together again. They're on this field trip in which they're seeing everything from basically birth to death. So the first part we see they're visiting a nursery. They see all the new babies, and then they go down to the morgue,
which seems like a really strange field trip.
Weird transition.
But I don't know that it's out of the realm of possibilities that you would have been able to go do that then. Sure, I guess.
Like going from life to birth to death.
Or a hospital letting you into the morgue to see the fakest body on the face of the planet where he just lifts like the heart out of it. It's just a funny scene that they're down there in that morgue. And so now we've gotten to the end of the school year. It's time for the big end of year school dance. But Spicoli runs into a hitch because none other than Mr. Hand shows up at his house. He has recorded that Spicoli has wasted 8 hours of Mr. Hand's time throughout the year. And tonight they are going to talk about treaties and shit.
Love that.
We have Mike apologizing to Rat, realizing he's a piece of shit friend. I guess it's supposed to be inferred that Spicoli and Mr. Hand spent 8 hours together. And that's that. They get to this part where it's like, am I going to pass your class? I don't know if you're going to pass my class. And they just kind of have this mutual, I don't know, je ne sais quoi. I don't know. And Spicoli says, "Aloha, Mr. Hand."
They squeak by.
Yeah. Aloha, Mr. Hand.
And Mr. Hand responds, "Aloha, Mr. Spicoli." We get back to the dance, and this is my question to you guys. When we were in Spicoli's room, he had a bunch of stuff on the walls, and he had a Playboy model on the wall who I don't think she was fully nude, but there's a play. And then we go to the dance, and Mrs. Vargas, is she the Playboy model? Because I think she is.
I think she is. And that's why they all kind of look
Yeah.
at each other.
Yeah, like they're
What
all
the
like,
hell?
wait a minute, what?
Mm.
So yeah, the weird science teacher is married to Playboy model. And we see Linda is reading like a breakup letter to Stacy, to her boyfriend. And I don't know what the boyfriend's name is because frankly, I think he was made up. But Stacy just has this look on, like this bullshit meter look on her face. Okay, Stacy, be done with this. Is this over? And she gives advice back to her, like, you can be anything you want, and you're great, and you're wonderful, and let's go dance. And so they do. We're back at the mall. Everyone's back at work. Stacy realizes through all these trials and tribulations that she wants a relationship with somebody. She wants romance. She doesn't want this one night stand kind of stuff. And she sees Rat over at the cinema and she calls him over. She gives him a kiss and gives him her picture so that he calls her over the summer. We then see Brad is now working at the Mighty Mart, which I think is an actual place, or was at least. Fully comes in and he gets some stuff. I can't really tell what he's getting, but he gets some stuff. And Brad is like, dude, why don't you get a job? And I don't know why he feels the need to say this to somebody unprovoked, but
Because Spicoli is like pulling change out of his pockets and like counting stuff out, like
I mean, sure.
pennies to pay for his stuff. And I think Brad is just, dude, like, we're done with high school. Like, why don't you just make money and not have to do
Judgment.
this?
I just think it was a weird judgment. I mean, he had the money to pay him. And he was just like, dude, all I need are some tasty waves, a cool buzz, and I'm fine.
All I need are some tasty waves, cool buzz, and I'm fine.
And then he has to go potties. He goes to the bathroom after some help with directions to the bathroom. And immediately a robber comes in, spray paints the CCTV camera. I'm not going to call it a security camera. I'm going to call that the CCTV camera. And the guy comes in and he's like, give me all the money. There's a safe behind the hostess things. And Spicoli interrupts the interaction. And when the robber isn't paying attention, Brad throws a bunch of hot coffee on him and then overtakes the robber.
Awesome! Totally awesome! All right, Hamilton.
And that's the end of the movie. But we go into the where are they now kind of segment, and we learn that Brad becomes the manager of the Mighty Mart on June 12th. Mike Damone is busted for scalping Ozzy Osbourne tickets, and he now works at a 7-Eleven. Mr. Vargas, the science teacher, has gone back to coffee. Linda Barrett attends Riverside, which I imagine is UC Riverside, and lives with her abnormal sight professor, which tracks. Rat and Stacy are having a passionate love affair, but still haven't gone all the way. And Mr. Hand is convinced everyone is on dope.
Because they are.
Yes, they
And
are.
Jeff Spicoli saved Brooke Shields from drowning and blows the reward money on hiring Van Halen to play his birthday party.
What a wonderful school year.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, the tomato meter gave this a 78%, which isn't not too shabby.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
certified fresh.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the popcorn, well, that's only on 59 reviews.
Yeah.
Huh. More people need to go on Rotten Tomatoes. And the
Well, the
popcorn meter,
popcorn meter.
meter's at 80% on 100,000 plus reviews, ratings. IMDb rating is a 7.1 out of 10 out of 124,000 reviews. And the Metascore is generally favorable with a 61 rating.
Roger Ebert, our buddy, gave it 1 star. And he said, "How could they do this to Jennifer Jason Leigh? How could they put such a fresh and cheerful person into such a scuzz pit of a movie? Don't they know that they have a star on their hands? I didn't even know who Lee was when I walked into Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and yet I was completely won over by her. She contained so much life and light that she was a joy to behold. And then she and everybody else in this so-called comedy is invited to plunge into offensive vulgarity."
Interesting.
Jeez, how do you really feel, Roger?
So was he in love with Jennifer Jason Leigh?
Yeah.
Well, he
Ob-
never experienced her before this movie,
Right.
but
Like,
then
how
comes
could
to
you
her
take this nothing
defense.
actress and
He
put her
really
in a
goes to-
nothing movie?
Yeah, he really goes to bat for her.
For no
It's
reason.
weird.
This is the first time he saw
Like
her.
unprovoked.
It's
Yeah.
it's creepy. Well, Gene Siskel gave it 2.5 stars and said the scene that caused a double take was when one of the teenage girls, using a carrot as a teaching device, explains her method of oral sex to her shy, inexperienced girlfriend. The scene is certainly the most outrageous moment in the otherwise tepid movie, but it is the same scene that best communicates the legitimate information Fast Times has to offer. High school and high school students have changed.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
Richard Roper of the Chicago Sun-Times wrote, "The best of the racy teen comedies perfectly preserves the fashion and attitude of the 80s."
Richard Corliss of Time magazine wrote, director Amy Heckerling has failed to provide the raunch or poignancy that would interest young moviegoers, all of whom have seen American Graffiti and its 467 imitators. Ridgemont High, a nice place to visit, but who would want to transfer there?
Our girl Janet Maslin of the New York Times gave it a 3 out of 5 stars and wrote, "A jumbled but appealing teenage comedy with something of a fresh perspective on the subject."
I don't disagree with that. Like, this was by no means like an epic. This was by no means supposed to be like the best movie of the century, but it was funny. It was relatable. I think for the time to put an abortion into a movie was really risky. And it was fluffy. It was fluffy. So I feel like Janet Maslin and Richard Roper sort of like got that. Yeah. What do you think?
I think Janet Maslin's is pretty vague.
Yeah.
There was probably a lot more to her review, but we
Yeah.
have a little bit of a snippet.
Okay, so I'm going to say it's super cringe.
Oh.
I think that, okay, so obviously this movie is a total cult classic.
Yeah.
I think the reason why it's a cult classic is because it kind of tackled these like teenage themes that like they weren't being addressed anywhere else. And so when teens or tweens were watching this movie, they were seeing things that they had questions about, at the time. And this kind of answered some of those questions they had. But I think that on top of that, like Sean Penn's performance as Spicoli, it was iconic and it was hilarious. And the movie is totally textbook 80s. Like the fashion, the music, the mall scenes, they're just
Sure.
iconic. But it is really hard to ignore the problematic side of this movie.
Problematic.
Yeah. So there are homophobic slurs. There is a depiction of a relationship that involved a minor. So, like the fact that Stacy is 15 and she's so infatuated with sex, and the fact that she goes out with Ron Johnson, who is 11 years older than her. It's an uncomfortable scene to watch when they're in that baseball dugout. I think anybody who watches that scene, they kind of either close their eyes or they're totally cringed out by it. So that's why I have to give it like this super cringe, is that it's questionable about her consent. I think that if you put yourself into a 15-year-old body, you're kind of like, I want to do this to be cool, but also I don't know if this is what I really want to do. Especially with the 26-year-old stereo salesman that I don't even know. And so
It was a time when parents didn't talk to their kids about this shit.
correct.
Had to find it out on your own the hard way.
Correct. And so I know from reading some other reviews that people even considered that scene to be statutory RAPE.
I mean, it is.
Yeah. So, of course, the pool scene where like Linda comes out of the pool and she takes her top off and she's kissing Brad, and like just the objectification of the women in this movie, which I get. I mean, it was the 80s. Yeah. So then we move on to the abortion scene. I have to give props to the director because adding this was like super non-judgmental. And the scene was actually like showing how a young woman had the right to choose, and she chose that, and there was no punishment that was included in that scene. Nobody scolded her for what she chose to do, and there wasn't any shame in it. In fact, I feel like that scene was sad because she got screwed over by the dude that got her pregnant, and he couldn't even
And
give
she
her
was
a
alone.
ride, and she was alone, and she didn't have anybody there to like hold her hand or comfort her, and that was probably like one of the biggest decisions that she ever made in her whole life.
Yeah.
And it was probably very emotional, and she had nobody there with her. And so ultimately, the one person who ends up actually being there for her was her brother.
Yes.
And he even asked her if she was hungry.
Yeah.
Like,
Take her to eat. Yeah.
yeah, like I got to take care of her. And so ultimately it was her brother that saved the day. But, I'm glad that Stacy or Linda took care of Damone for Stacy. I love that she did that for her friend.
Yeah.
I like that they took the cringe away from like the procedure itself, and that they focused on Damone being a dick.
Yeah.
I like that they switched
Mhm.
up that scene to make it like, this wasn't the uncomfortable part. What was uncomfortable was that the dude fucked her over.
No accountability.
Right. So the best parts of the movie, of course, we have to talk about the pizza being delivered to class, like that Spicoli crashes the car, and then he's, oh no, dude, my old man's like a television repairman. So we've got all the tools, and I can fix it.
Fix
Like the opening sequence montage with the mall is just fantastic. You get all the feels, like,
that you do.
oh my God, I remember this. Oh my God, I remember that. It's just iconic. And like the fact that they were playing like the Go-Go's, we've got the beat on
Yeah.
top of that, like just fantastic. So yeah, I'm really between like totally cringe and super cringe. But it's cringy like in a way that like all teenagers sort of experience. So like it's real life cringe.
I think did it age well? Like,
Could you make a movie like this today?
yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, I don't
I
see why
think
not
they
either. I
make them
guess.
even worse today.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, some of the scenes are questionable, but yeah, I think they could definitely remake it. And then am I gonna watch it on a Saturday? Absolutely. I'd say it's probably up there in my top 10 movies. I love the nostalgia. I love Jeff Spicoli.
yeah.
I just
You love
think
the and Mr.
And Mr. Hand. It's a good movie. I think everyone should watch it.
I think Janine said it all for all of us.
I'm sorry, I took
No, I have notes as well, but I won't. I agree pretty much with everything you said. I am also on the super cringe scale, particularly because of the 15-year-old and 26-year-old interaction. That is super cringy. As Janine said, just watching that scene is extremely uncomfortable. What I'm also unsure of is if because of Stacy's promiscuity, I wish her promiscuity was in check to go around with Stereo Guy and Mike and Rat. That was a little much, but I understand going with the plot. The jerking off scene wasn't for me either. The animals in cages was just really weird, but I also adore Spicoli. I think he was like goals in this movie. He's just hilarious. And I
He's the
think that
wholesome character.
right, like that's what makes me want to watch it. And then going to rewatch this, I was like, I've seen this movie 5 million times, but I didn't want to watch it because of Stacy's sex scenes. But I wanted to watch it because of Spicoli and Mr. Hand. So, yeah. So I give it a super cringe. I would definitely have it on if it came on a Saturday.
Okay.
I'm supposed to say that our mom wanted to have a review of this movie also.
Really?
Okay.
How
And
did
she
you
would
know
like me
we're
to.
watching this?
She asked me what movie we were watching, and she said, "Can I also do a review of the movie?"
Okay.
Does
Go.
she have one?
She typed it out for me.
Are you serious?
Yes.
All right. We're getting MB's review.
Yeah, so
Wow.
bonus special guest, mom's review is I didn't like the whole abortion scenario. They treated it like she was just getting her teeth cleaned. I think it needed to be rewritten and filmed again. It needed to be more serious. She references like Variety magazine and basically saying that like they asked Amy Heckerling about the abortion scene and she said, "You know what? This is life. I wanted to shoot it like it was life." She said she did it. She just quietly did it. And in an almost European way, she put this young girl's life on screen in a way for you to judge. It was a very courageous thing to do. And it actually is the one thing about the movie that I'm probably happiest about at this point. But our mom feels that Amy screwed this up royally. And it's her opinion
Okay.
from mom.
Did she give a cringe?
She did not.
Okay. 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 I am going to go with totally because totally just seems like the right word.
It's very Spicoli answer. Totally.
I'm going to put totally cringe. And I don't even really know why, because a lot of this movie does resonate with me. I agree with you, Janine. I think they handled the entire abortion storyline quite well. They didn't make it this like major arc. It was an arc of the movie, yes, but like it wasn't dwelled on.
Right.
And
It didn't define her.
I think, and I'm just gonna okay, boomer and be on this, is that our parents didn't talk to us about this. And some of us had to make decisions like this on our own. And I appreciate Heckerling doing this in the way she did, because it did show that, and I'll quote our father, men are scum,
Yes.
and that women have to buck up and make some big girl fucking decisions because
Yep.
couldn't go to your parents with this stuff.
No.
Not at all.
And I
And
think that's what, like, especially, I don't want to point out that mom is wrong, but
no,
like,
no, 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 no. I'm just
like
okay.
what I'm saying is that this stuff happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Our parents just didn't know.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And so
And
I'm glad they added it to the movie
yeah,
because it's true.
it was
I'm
realistic.
right.
And I think a lot of the movie was realistic, but it gets a totally from me because it does "I'm a homo," referring to other sports people as fags. That didn't need it just didn't need to be there. It didn't need to be there, yet it was. I always find Yankee wanky scenes as uncomfortable. They just don't seem very to me. Like women don't find that funny. Do like men enjoy that? Who's enjoying that? I
Right.
just
No
It
one.
was not
I
necessary.
don't know. And there's a lot of that, especially in like 90s movies when you get to like American Pie, like Jesus Christ. So this is definitely a lot tamer than say something like American Pie. So I'm going to give it a totally because it seems like the right word. And that's about the amount of cringe it gave me. And yeah, if it was on TV, absolutely. I think just alone for the Spicoli Mr. Hand interactions alone and the soundtrack slapped fantastic. So that's where I land on that.
So you can watch this on Peacock, YouTube, Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video, Google Play, Fandango at home, all for a fee, or Janine's favorite Internet Archive for free.
That was my skull. I'm so wasted.
Well, class is dismissed. Remember Damone's golden rule. Act like wherever you are, that's the place to be. And where you are right now is with us at the Shermer High Alumni Association. Now, go put on side one of Led Zeppelin 4, and we'll see you next week.
We are off to go kick 100% of someone's ass. Or more likely, get fired from yet another fast food job while wearing a ridiculous pirate hat.
Thanks for joining us at the Shermer High Alumni Association. If you had as much fun as we did, hit follow, leave a review, and share this episode with your fellow 80s movie lovers. Until next time, be kind and don't forget to rewind. Aloha!
Bye-bye.
Aloha!